light on. And fix my chat. Look at that book sparkle. Tell me that is not just an absolutely gorgeous thing. I am still completely in love with this book. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. The amount of sparkle they put on that front page is absolutely wonderful thing to me. Let's see, who do we want to color today? I do love that one. This is a very strong possibility. I did a major dragon, not yesterday, but Monday. So I don't really want to do a dragon today. But there are so many options. Like, that is amazing, just on its own. Let's see. Let's just flip through and see who jumps out at us. I just love the level of detail in these pages. I think as somebody who grew up and cut their teeth on like Dragonlance and Mercedes Lackey and varying fantasy novels, these are just some of my favorite types of art. Let's see. I think we might... Who do I want to go to here? There's so many good options. That came out a whole lot whinier than it was supposed to. Let's see. Let's do the age-old flip through, stop on a random page and see what happens. It just keeps coming back to this guy. But this guy is not who I'm in the mood for. So let's see. That's definitely very, very cool. Ooh. That's kind of amazing. Though I have a tendency to want to keep them as white. Wow. How did I overlook that last time? Let's see. Trying to see if anybody jumps out at me. Well, he looks like a relaxed little gentleman, doesn't he? Let's see. Let's see. Well, that's cool. Some of these I've overlooked. Let's see. Hello, I am not an artist of that nature. This is a coloring book. I am being completely indecisive on what to color. There are so many options, and so many of them are actually amazing. But I think I'm going to stop on this guy, because it keeps coming back up for me, so let me just make sure there's not another one that's going to catch my attention instead. There are a lot of incredible pieces of art in this book. But the gentleman actually responsible for the art in this book's name is Silvio Francesco. And his talent is definitely his to own. So, let's see. Now I just have to decide where we're starting on this little job. So I think what we're going to do, we're not actually going to color his entire mane. We're just going to kind of add a few strands here and there. And then his mane will be a much lighter tone. But if we add in just enough, it'll add a pretty nice amount of highlight when we do go in with the lighter tone. And I want this underneath just so that it... Hello, Ever. How we doing today? This is, like I said, one of my favorite new coloring books. Just a lot of phenomenal artistry in here. I just color. There are some amazing artists for this type of drawing. I am not one of them. I'm pretty good at coloring, though. I will own that part. I can color. Which, what we're doing right now is just throwing in some lowlights to make it so that his mane has a little bit of extra depth. Thank you for that. As I said, I'm not the artist, but I did quite happily buy the book. Which, believe it or not, I got this guy from Walmart. It was not my cheapest coloring book, but I felt like it was worth it. I think I paid like $14 for it after taxes. Nothing too crazy, but not exactly cheap either. I should probably sharpen that. I'll probably regret the fact that I didn't, but that's okay. I don't know why I started on his mane. That's just kind of where I leaned right off the bat. But and I'm going to go a little bit darker with this because I want his mane to be darker than his actual fur. And I do intend to use the same tan for his fur. Don't know why I went in front of my camera for that instead of behind. Let's try that again. It was bothering me. It was too dull. Would have taken me all day to try and get the color I was aiming for there. But you can kind of see with coloring over top of the darker brown how it kind of creates that look like it's all one thing. It's just adding a little bit of depth and a little bit of contrast in there, just to make it stand out that little bit. Welcome back, welcome back. I'm always happy to see people a couple of days in a row. Hope we're doing well. There we go. Walmart does have some great coloring books. And their prices can be very reasonable. They can also be a little over the top depending on what you're looking at. As I said, this guy was, I think, about $14 after tax, which is not crazy, but also not the cheapest. But sometimes you pay for quality, and sometimes it's worth it, because I really do love this guy. I love this book, and it's going to be, I think, a lot of really good streams for us in the future. I don't have quite that good of a record yet. I haven't done 1,000 lives, I don't think. Or 100,000, I think that would be. Hello, Lori. How are we doing today? I'm in a good mood because I actually did one of my regular bits of content today for once. Haven't done that in a hot minute. Between the weather and the cats and everything else, I get caught up a little bit in other things and I miss doing things, so I am just going through and darkening up some of these spots. Well, he has hair. The dragon that we did the other day is back this way somewhere. I have to remember where he was. Let's see, where did I find him? Where did that guy go? Ah, there he is. That was the dragon we did on Monday. But today we're working on this little gentleman. And we're going to go much, much lighter on the rest of his fur. We don't want him to be too dark. We don't want the rest of him to blend in too much with his hair. Now maybe a little bit more color than that. There we go. Once again, this is why I love my colored pencils, because you can adjust the color just by how much pressure you use and which angle you use in the pencil. Have a great night, and thank you for popping in. And I think this will always be probably one of my favorite features of using colored pencils versus markers or my gel pens or even crayons, is just the control of color that you do have with a colored pencil that you don't have quite as much in other means, implements, utensils, whatever you want to call them. I am just slightly brain fried. My cat kicked me out of the bedroom last night, so I actually spent my night on the couch, because arguing with a 20-pound blind cat as to whether or not he can sleep on your head is not an argument you're going to win. Welcome back, Tegan. You told me that yesterday. I am almost always Monday through Thursday, somewhere between 3 and 4 Central Standard Time. I know that's different depending on where you guys are at, but I cannot promise precise times because I have a lot going on over here. I have a lot of pets, and I'm also a caretaker, so sometimes things get in the way, and almost always late getting on. My original intent was to do 3. Yes, Lori, he is a big cat. He is also blind and very, very, very spoiled. So, I totally am not to blame for that at all, I swear. He got spoiled in all of the correct ways, I think, because he was not born blind. He was not blind when he showed up here. He went blind very suddenly overnight. How you doing, dolphins? So, our answer to him was a lot of vet bills and a whole lot of spoiling to try and figure out what caused it and everything. Which apparently retinal failure is a genetic issue in cats that I did not know was a possibility. He makes for an interesting lifetime, though. Let's see. I think I want that darker brown for his claws. They don't need to be crazy big or crazy dark, but I don't want them blending in quite so much, even though they're not 100% accurate. Cats generally have retractable claws, but that's okay. All right, now for the hard part. Actually, not that hard. Oh, excuse me. I think what we're going to do is just come in and line a few spots in his wings with this gold. And then we're going to go over it with a gold pencil to give him some color and shape in his wings. And I am not one for making wild animals a pet, but I think if I had the opportunity to make one of these guys a pet, I would in a heartbeat. No, Deimos is actually solid black. He does not make sense. I don't know where he came from. He just showed up on my porch one day at probably about 7, 8 months old. So, but yeah, he's black. If you look on my page, he is definitely there. A lot. I actually was doing a lot of content with him before he went blind. So the day that I had to rush him to the vet with it is actually documented in there. And, some follow-ups after the vet talking about his progress and learning to live with him being challenged that way. He is an absolute love. He's just very big, and because of a mishap not long after he went blind, I'm very, very cautious about allowing him near my face. And that's another one that is documented in the videos if you feel like going back and looking. And that is where he actually had a panic attack and he ran across the bed. And unfortunately, my face was in his path and he took a chunk out of one of my ears. He re-pierced the other ear for me, took out a chunk of my nose, and left scars all along my hairline. So, though I'm not afraid of him, I don't let him near my face too much, if that makes any sense. What happened was not his fault, but it would absolutely be my fault if I let something happen again because I let, my guard down on it. So when he's feeling froggy and just giving me a hard time, a lot of times I will just go sleep on the couch for one night. But in the meantime, we have managed to give this guy some wings. Which my brain comes to the possibility of, imagine if my blind cat had wings, instead of running into instead of just running into walls, he'd be flying into walls. Stuff happens, and it's not his fault. The first incident, I will claim it was at least partially my fault because I didn't think to close the window that night. And a noise outside scared him, but it's also not a fault thing. He was new to being blind. He was new to everything going on. And he got scared. It's not his fault. Generally speaking, he is an incredibly sweet cat, so. I have managed a very good chunk of time talking about my pets again, which, you'll never see me complain about because even when they are a little bit of a handful, I adore every one of them. It's kind of crazy how few of them I came about intentionally, but, Most people, really, who have a crazy amount of pets like I do, did not intend to get that way. My guys, most of them except for Loki the dog, both of my conures, and Kratos the bearded dragon, everybody else is either a rescue or a stray that just kind of turned up. My chinchillas are actually kind of funny. My oldest one, Gizmo, they thought he had a severe issue in rodents in general that's called malocclusion. He did not. He had a tooth spur, which was not a cheap fix, but definitely not life-threatening. I have 3 chinchillas, 2 male, 1 female. My second male, his name is Peanut. I call him my wasabi peanut. He came to me because the store deemed him unsellable because he thoroughly enjoys biting people. And that has not changed. He still thoroughly enjoys biting people. He just doesn't bite me. He has bitten anyone who put their hand in his cage since he was a baby. And he has bitten me in the past, but he figured out pretty quick it doesn't do him any good, so he stopped doing it. He actually adores me and will come demanding pets. And then my little female, she is actually a dwarf. She came to me because her owner developed allergies, and she knew I already had the other 2, and she wanted her girl to go to a good home that would take good care of her. So she is spoiled rotten in her own room. Because I can't mix her and the boys because she's a dwarf and they are not. Mixing them could actually be very detrimental to her health. Chinchillas are absolutely amazing animals, but they are not a pet for everyone. Between birds, beardies, dogs, cats, the chinchillas are more work than everybody else put together. but I do absolutely adore them. And this is actually making things go really nice and quickly for me, aren't they? Or isn't it? I'm in here looking for colors. Trying to figure out what I'm doing with the next spot. Because I've gotten myself down to block, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna start out with silver, or well, gray in general. Though I think I might have to sharpen this thing to get it to actually put some color out. I had, unfortunately, 2 hamsters. Both were also rescues. One came from the same house with the allergies. The other was yet another biting scenario. Both have passed right before the end of the year, and both actually passed of old age. But they were neat to keep. Not something I've ever really thought to keep myself. I usually look for longer lived animals because I get all of the attached. And then there's my cockatiels, Sweetie Pie, who quite literally came with the house when we bought it, who is 28, heading toward 29 pretty quickly, and does not know he's old. Probably wouldn't believe you if you told him he was old. He is still just as fiery and spoiled as ever. I'm not loving the gray for that. Or at least not that shade. Let's see. Let's try silver. Okay, I like that better. There we go. So I probably will actually still do a live this week on Friday. I have the rare extra day off. Well, not so rare right now, but I have the extra day off, and I figure I might as well take advantage of it. I don't normally do Fridays, but I'm kind of excited for the idea. I don't know what's supposed to be behind him. We kind of missed some spots there with the background drawing, but we'll toss that gray in there. I think silver is actually the ideal color. There we go. I am not sure what the OF is for. Hopefully not OnlyFans, because I would be really bad for that. I am too old and too chubby and too lazy to dance around or anything. And my feet are definitely too gnarly for any of that nonsense, so would not work for me. So we are just about to hit my 30-minute mark, which makes me happy. I wasn't sure if I was going to hit it today, because this one actually has been going really quickly, actually. Probably wouldn't have if I didn't keep losing my pencil sharpener, but that's beside the point. But I will be on tomorrow. I don't know if I'll do this book or the other one yet. This one seems to be doing really well with people, though the other one did too. But we'll have some fun either way. But I am going to go ahead and call that a day. I am very happy with how this guy turned out. And I will talk to you guys next time.